gate. Oh, 6:58. I'm gonna give people a little time to get in here. A couple minutes. A minute or so. We're gonna get into this today. Got a lot of little things, man. Come on, boy, what's in here? Seven p.m. Tuesday, June 13th. Tuesday, June 13th. Get that done real quick. Yeah, we not in the studio again. Phil, the podcast doctor. Shout out to him. Hope he gets well. Hope his family gets well. Remember the weather. They definitely remember the weather. So give us some time to get healthy. Take care of the family first. Take care of yourself first. Always take care of yourself and the family first. Whoever rocking, thanks for coming in here. 7 o'clock Tuesday. What we doing? Politics on the Corner, Real Rap King. I got a lot of little. I don't have a specific topic. I got a lot of little things I want to talk about though. But the main part is, for me, it always comes back to integrity, right? But like I said, thanks for everybody that's in here. Thank you for continued support. Like, share, subscribe, comment. If you in here, like it. Like it. You in here, like it. If you're new here, new to the show, it's not going to go how you think it's going to go. And let me tell you what I mean by that, right? And this is all to me what I mean by that. And I know some people won't get it, some people won't understand. It is what it is. Everything I do is integrity first. I don't care what part of life. People that know me in real life will tell you this. Like, I don't care what it's about. It's integrity first, man. I don't got no price tag on me. I don't do things for likes. I don't do things for views. I don't say things for likes. I don't say things for views. I say what's in my heart. Understand what I'm saying? I look at the data. I analyze the information. I go off of personal experiences. I go off of factual information, and I draw my conclusion from there. I'm not swayed by a name. I'm not swayed by a title. I'm not swayed by some financial status somebody may have. I'm not swayed by none of that. Let me get one of me clear. Right is right and wrong is wrong. That's the way I go in life. I told y'all when I went through that course, and they said my personality trait was I'm an absolute thinker, meaning I don't really do gray areas. It's not a lot of gray area stuff with me. It's black and white. It is or it's not. You understand what I'm saying? And I ensure that I stick to facts. I don't go off emotion. I don't go off of preconceived notions, right? The key to life, the key to education, the key to learning is always this. It's to clear your palate, it's to clear your mind, and look at things from an unbiased point of view. That's the only way you're really going to come to a real conclusion, right? But when you're in a certain kind of bag, and all the information that you're looking for is only to support what you feel. It's not you're not looking for anything that's going to counteract what you feel. Understand what I'm saying? So that means you got so many blind spots, and you really biased in your purview. And that ain't no way to be, right? If you got any kind of platform, and I did a show in December when I was talking about this, right? If you got any kind of platform, if you on YouTube, if you on radio, if you on mainstream networks, ABC, whatever it is, right? You have a duty for integrity-based journalism. You understand what I'm saying? Don't be putting out falsehoods and misinformation and information that's only going to steer in the direction you want to steer to. But yet there's plenty of other information that's going to contradict what you feel. You know what I'm saying? At that point, you don't have no integrity, bro. I don't care who you is. I stand on what I stand on. I don't need no friends, man. I'm different. I'm not running around here looking for no friends. I'm not here looking for no. I'm not a networking type person. I'm really not that guy. I'm really that born alone dialogue, if that's what it is. But I'm never going to compromise myself. If that means I got to get away from you, either maintain a relationship and compromise myself, or get away from you, I'm gonna get away from you. You better believe that. I don't care who you are, who they told you was, who you thought you was. I only move off of one governor, man. That's it. Nothing else moves me. I don't understand this weird rhetoric. I don't understand this weird activities and mindset that people have. And I'm glad I don't understand, quite frankly. But what do you stand for ultimately? I think that's my number one question. Like, what do you stand for? We outside, so I can talk like this. You understand what I'm saying? Like them other scripted, it's not really scripted, but there's other shows where they got titles and descriptions and all that. That's for studio. When I'm outside, ain't none of this got no direction, man. It's just me speaking from the heart. That's all it's gonna be about. That's why I do enjoy doing this outside, because I'm on the corner. I feel like I'm outside, I'm in my element. Like, yo, let's really talk. Like, I would never understand that. Like, ever would I ever understand that? It makes no sense to me. It's like, do you know how impressionable people are? Like, you know how lazy people are. And we already battling the mainstream news, the colonized news, with your Foxes, your ABCs, your CNNs, your Wall Street Journals, your Bloombergs. I mean, we're already battling that system. So for people to take the time out of their life to come over here and spread more nonsense, it's crazy to me. I would never understand that. And then come to me and say, or be in my comments, or wherever you engage me at, and say, yo, we fighting the same battle. No, we not. No, we not. You over there rumbling what you rumbling. They ain't got nothing to do with me. No way in hell we fighting the same, we rumbling the same battle. That ain't even close. We don't got nothing in common with that. You heard? Nothing. You got a price tag on you, man. Whether it's who you socialize with, or who you interact with, or who you know, or what they physically give you monetarily, or grandstanding for them. Somewhere in there, you got a price tag on you. So, you know what I'm saying? I can never support that. I've never subscribed to that. You got me chopped. I don't come from that. You understand what I'm saying? You got me chopped all the way. Chopped. So let me talk about a couple instances this week, the things that really been bothering me, right? So remember last week, I told y'all about AJ Owens. Lives in Marion. Well, she lived in Marion County, Florida, Ocala, Florida, and she was shot and killed by her neighbor. And her neighbor was a middle-aged white woman. AJ was like 32, I think. She had 4 kids. And the more information that's released about that, the more sickening it actually gets. So when you, once again, I told y'all the timetable was going to take for a while to even arresting the woman that shot her because she claims stand your ground laws. And there's a whole nother investigative process that's conducted with stand your ground. You understand what I'm saying? Because I want to say 2017 or so, they changed the law in Florida to where if someone claims stand your ground, the onus went from the defendant, the person that fired the shot or killed the person, claiming stand your ground to defend their case to the prosecution proving it's not a stand your ground case, right? So what did I tell y'all how it worked, right? I ain't the smartest dude in the world, I just know what I know. I told y'all, the police and the DA's office, they get together, they go over the case, they figure out what evidence is, they currently have, what evidence is needed, what charges they can bring, how solid the case is or isn't, right? I told y'all all this. I told y'all it was going to take some time. The time that it took was the very next day. The very next day, last Wednesday, she was arrested. I think she got bailed for like 150-some thousand, I think. 124,000, whatever it was. 10% of that, whatever she got to pay. Because I can't remember, it was 120 something, 150 something. So either she paying, what, 20 something or 50 some thousand, right? That's what number she's gonna have to pay, right? I told you I was gonna take some time. Be patient for those that knew about this case. That sometime, like I said, was the very next day she was arrested, charged with manslaughter. Her family and family attorneys was pushing for second-degree murder, which, when you understand the case, right? Now, let me tell y'all more about the case, because last week I didn't tell y'all a whole lot about the case, because I kind of try to wait for information, right? I don't try to just jump out the window. I try to gather as much information as possible, and those that have been rocking with me a minute, y'all know this about me already. I'm never really going to jump out the window and go crazy on the topic when I don't have all the information. I may speak on it and then double back when I get more information, right? So, AJ, her kids was playing outside, right? So this is an ongoing beef, the beef between this neighbor and people within the neighborhood has been like 2.5 years old, right? There's been multiple police calls. There's been at least 10 police reports within this duration. The lady Susan Rzinski or something to that effect, she has made several accusations against AJ in particular that the police came out, investigated, and they was unfounded, including assault allegations, allegations of threats of bodily harm or whatever the case may be, right? Police that went out there and investigated and they couldn't find any evidence that would corroborate her claim, right? But there was claims made against the Susan lady that was found, that was verified. For all intents and purposes, it seemed like she had a problem with kids outside playing, right? It's almost like low income type housing, but it's not owned by the city, it's owned by a particular person, a landlord. And I guess it would be considered the hood for where they was at, but that's neither here nor there. But it's like duplex, it's like sets of duplexes. And beside her duplex, there's a large field, which is a common space. It's not part of her yard, it's a common space. So she was going to the landlord complaining about people playing in the kids playing in the common space. Specifically, we're talking about kids. And so what the landlord did was to try to defuse the situation and find a means, right? He roped off a portion of the grass to say, please don't play right here. Play, like, had an arrow, play on this side of the grass, right? Which, you know, to my understanding, the kids about it. I ain't hear nobody say the kids wrote what the landlord said and did what they wanted to do. I never read one report. I read plenty of reports on this. I read plenty of articles. And y'all can read it for yourself. AJ Owens, 32, Ocala, Florida. So this particular day in question, one of the kids left an iPad in the grassy area. Susan lady come out of the house, grab the iPad. When one of the kids went to grab the iPad from her, she turned around, threw the iPad at the kid, hit the kid with the iPad, broke the iPad. When another kid went to say something to her, she threw a skate at another kid, or swung a skate, something like that. When an older sibling went and knocked on the door, she came out the crib and swung an umbrella at the kid. I can't remember if all this was in succession, but these are all incidents that took place. The mother wound up going and knocking on the door. Probably, it's like 9 o'clock, 9:30 at night or so. She went across the grass or the courtyard to knock on the door. Now, I mean, these are really neighbors, right? It's a neighborhood conflict. The mother knocked on the door. The lady inside, Susan, was ignoring her. She knocked on the door some more. She's still getting ignored. The mother came out and said, "I know you hear me." When she said that, a shot came through the door. AJ got hit in the chest. She falls in the grass. You got her son trying to give her CPR. Neighbors ran out the house trying to give her CPR. She died at the hospital. Susan claimed stands her ground because what she said was that AJ was banging on the door so hard that she thought the door was going to come off the hinges. She said that AJ was threatening to, saying she was going to kill her. It was all these accusations that would have constituted stand your ground, right? Which we need to talk about stand your ground in a second. But all these things would have constituted parameters for stand your ground, unfortunately. So when the police came out and investigated, they took her statement. She was the only statement. She's the only person that gave a statement in 5 days. This happened on a Friday. Remember, she got arrested on Wednesday. So that's the 5 days that elapsed, she was the only person that had gave an official statement. So the police didn't have much to go off of. They had to sit back and they had to corroborate her story. They had to confirm it or deny it or find flaws in it, right? That's a part of the investigative process. So when they finally, that Wednesday, when they finally got a chance to talk to the kids, because the kids are traumatized quite naturally, right? That's normal. Them kids just watched their mother be murdered, right? Kids are traumatized. When they finally was able to talk to the kids, and the kids gave their version of the story, exactly what they say took place. And then by this time they got other statements and they corroborated other statements. And they had a ring camera from one of the neighbors. And with the kids, where everybody's saying statement corroborated also what they have in the video, right? The sheriff of that county wound up coming out and making he had a press conference. I could find a press conference. He has multiple press conferences. The one that's important, the one that's going to highlight a lot of information that he couldn't reveal, and there's a lot of information they still can't reveal because remember they still got a day in court, right? But at that time, with the investigation for arrest, you realize they can't release much information to the public, right? But what the sheriff stated was that through his investigative process, and he outlined pretty much everything I just said, what the investigative process actually looks like. He, in conclusion, when they brought all the evidence together, and he used this term, he said her statement of self-defense, her stance on stand your ground is bogus. Saying AJ never banged on the door, she never threatened her life. Like these things never took place. And he came out verbatim and said her claims were bogus. And they wanted to arrest her that night, but because of what she claimed, they could not arrest her that night. You understand what I'm saying? So, the day of the funeral, after the funeral, there was a press conference by, anybody that know what I've been on here know I'm not a fan of Big Fun. I'm just not. Anytime somebody's crying and grieving because somebody lost their life, he's Johnny on the spot getting a bunch of money from it. Well, his firm, the firm that he represents, is getting a bunch of money from it. And he's in the black communities getting a couple of dollars from off black paint. Like, you know what I mean? Like I need to know initiatives that he's part of to avoid some of this pain. You understand what I'm saying? Because one time I see him, I see pain. But nonetheless, I'm not the type of person to discredit what someone says, right? So he pretty much stated that the additional information that would come out during trial, and he probably should have said some of this stuff because some of this stuff is supposed to be held close to the vest. It is what it is. But he came out and stated that the Susan lady researched Stand Your Ground. I don't know how many people know this or don't know this. She researched Stand Your Ground. She researched it. When she ran in the crib, I mean, you can listen to the 911 call, right? Listen to the 911 call. The 911 call has been released of her calling 911, and tell me what you think about what she said. You know, the racial slurs that prior to killing these kids, moments before killing these kids, moments for killing their mother, these kids' mother, the racial slurs that she leveled against these kids. So now you make it black and white. To me, it's not about being black and white, right? It's about right and wrong. But the moment you do that, you kind of make it about race. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of hard to play both sides of the table with that. When you bring the racial component into it. She definitely did that. And once again, even on the 911 call, you can listen to what she said. Anybody out there think I'm fraud, they think I'm exaggerating, or listen to her own words, right? Like I said, the Google search part was Ben Crump revealed that she had this on Google search. Google searches for stand your ground laws and what it encompasses, pretty much, right? So, to me now the picture becomes a little bit more clear. You come out of your house to go in the field where kids is at to grab the tablet, these specific kids, you know what I'm saying? To grab the tablet. And you take a tablet, you throw it at one of the kids, you break the tablet, right? You swing an umbrella, you throw a skate, you do all these things that would incite a person, right? A mother, an average mother, would incite them. You just come in the room, hit the like button for me. Hit the like button for me. You just came in here. You did all these things that would incite a person. Right? I don't care who you are. I don't care about the nationality. I don't care about race. I don't care about any of that. The average mother, with everything that took place and everything that transpired, would have went over there and knocked on that door. The average mother. That's not even debatable. It's not debatable. Go ask that mother. Do a consensus and ask these mothers out here. If you ain't never raised a kid every single day of your life, I don't want to hear from you. I'm not being smart. I really don't want to hear from you. You got kids out there you don't take care of, I don't want to hear from you. If you did a bunch of time in jail and your kids was on the streets trying to figure it out, I don't want to hear from you. I'm going to keep it a pup. I'm one of them. I don't want to hear from you. If you wasn't the case of we live in this house, but I gotta go over here for work to feed my family and take care of my home, that's a different scenario. But if you had a baby mama, like I've had a baby mama in the past, if you had a baby mama, I don't want to hear from you. I don't want to hear from you on this topic. If you're not a mama, because guess what? Daddies tending to be a little bit more logical, be a little bit more reserved, we think things out a little bit more, we see the bigger play. Women go and act off of pure emotion when it comes to their kids. I don't give a damn. And I'm not saying that's all the way wrong. I get it, that's mama bear. Mama bear carried that. When that baby is born, they still have an attachment. You know what I'm saying? They still have an attachment when that child leave that womb. There's still an attachment there. I called it the other day in my head. I called it I forgot the term I deemed it as. But they still have that attachment that the father could never have. Like we just can't have that. We didn't carry that. They didn't grow from us. They come from us, but it don't grow in us. You know what I'm saying? So we got limitations with that. It just is what it is. I can't look at no mother and tell no mother how to feel about their kids. I could never do that. We don't have the right to do that. If you think you got the right to do that, then kill yourself. I said what I said. I said what I said. You don't have the right, bro. Sis, whoever, if you didn't carry that, you didn't carry that. You can't tell a person how to feel about something they carry. They nurtured, they bled for it, literally. They bled for that, literally. Men don't bleed for that. We release something and we feel good about what we released, and then we help, you know what I mean? We help raise and, we do our part with raising and doing all that with the child. But no blood come from us dealing with this child, man. No blood come from us. Just facts. Only fluid we lose is semen. It's a fact. But I told you, my problem is I'm prolonging. That's my problem. I got a disease. I'm too prolonging. People don't want to hear me talk because I'm so prolonging. It's like, nah, you don't have that. You can't look at it from that stance because you can't feel that. So for a person to sit back and say what a mother should or shouldn't have done when the average mother would have ran out here, would have run across that damn street. Think about it when we was kids, right? Think about it. The average person, anybody in here that's over 36, 37 years old. Anybody that's gonna watch this, I say 35, let's be fair, let's say 35. Anybody that's over 35 years old. You was part of that era where if a neighbor said, somebody said you did something wrong to a neighbor or you was doing something wrong outside, your parent walked you down the street to that neighbor. Or if you came in the house saying so-and-so did something wrong to you, your mother, especially your mother, took you down the street or took you around the corner, whatever that adult said that did something wrong to you. Because what they doing is a two-part reason. They want to see if you lying, they want to see if the adult lying. They want to see what happened when y'all face to face. You know what I'm saying? So this is nothing that's uncommon. This is super typical. Yeah, and then you remember back then, the neighbor probably give you a little whoop and smack your side of your head, sitting in the house, going to the house crying, what you crying for? Oh, Miss So-and-so smacked me. Oh, damn, why Miss So-and-so do that? I did this, and your mama smacked you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that was the whole point of the village concept then. Yeah, we got away from the village concept. It's not like that no more. And it really probably should go back. But in today's age, it's going to be hard for to go back with all the turmoil and don't talk to my kid like that. And but your kid walking up and down the street, cussing at the top of their lungs, smoking weed, and they 8 years old. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, don't talk to my kid like that. Huh, what happened? Oh, okay. Damn. I mean, if you would have done it, I wouldn't have to do it. But yeah, so everything that I gathered and all the conclusions that I studied and gave my synopsis of is that lady Londa, she researched, stands your ground. She did things that would incite any mother. She did things that would get a rile and level of aggression out of any person. And she got exactly what she wanted to get out of the situation. But she was anticipating AJ coming in on a different energy level that she never came with. And this is just common sense, right? This is just common sense. Just sit back real quick and just use your head for 5 seconds. Let's really think about this. She do all these things, right, to these kids. She run in the house, close the door, she's behind a metal locked door, right? Now unless she got the gun by her front door, or she had or she lined it before she went outside. She set everything she had to set up. She went outside, did what she did, ran in the house, put the gun in her hand, right? And she was anticipating a certain kind of energy from AJ that AJ never gave. But she already had in her mind that she was going to shoot. So what she told the police was, and once again, you can listen at the 911 call. She said she aimed high because her intentions was not to hit anyone. The hole was in the middle of the door. The hole was literally in the middle of the door. You know what I'm saying? The hole is literally in the middle of the door. It's not up top in the door. It's like literally like chest level, like body level in the door, for which she aimed at. For all intents and purposes, she lined her. It's a tragic story. You know, these kids no longer had a mother, and they're young kids. They're young kids, man. I think the youngest one is 3. The oldest one is like 12, I want to say. She worked at McDonald's. You know, she was hustling. Um, I know typically we like to say that daddy's not in their life, but one of the kids that was outside with her when she got shot, his daddy was there with him. He gave a little speech, but the speech was more or less thanking people for their support within his family. Um, and his daddy was right there on his hip. His daddy had a suit on, had the same matching colors on as whatever thing they had. So I think to some capacity, daddy was in the son life. That son, I don't know if they all got different daddies. I don't know nothing about none of that. But like I said, the thing we like to do is jump out the window and say, well, listen, these boys and these women ain't got no daddies and they ain't got nobody, yada, yada, yada. But from what I'm gathering, that wasn't the case here. And if somebody could find some evidence of that, you know, send it to me. You know what I'm saying? You know, send that to me. You know, next thing I want to touch on is your boy Donald J. Trump, man. Like I talked about this way back when he, you know, before he was indicted and when they was doing the investigation, when they was talking about the hoopla about the classified information and people thought I was crazy and I guess I don't know what I'm talking about. Let me tell you something. Donald J. Trump is his worst enemy. He's an arrogant guy. He doesn't think laws apply to him. And for a reason, you got to understand why. Well, you don't have to understand why, but I'm gonna explain to you why. He comes from a background of business, right? Business, being a business magnate, where the buck normally stops with him, right? Whatever he says is gonna go that way. He don't really got to answer to nobody. You know, he tell you pay taxes, you dummy, you're a dummy if you pay taxes. So he already telling you I don't even pay taxes, so I don't really listen to the government. Only time I reread he ever really listened to the government when he was filing Chapter 13. And he was playing the government at that point. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, this is an entitled young person who lived an entitled life and a privileged life his whole life. So then when he entered in the world of politics and he obtains the highest, the most visible, the most powerful seat in every hemisphere on the planet, you know, that kind of power isn't meant for everybody. It's gonna make you, it's gonna bring out more of what you are, it's gonna make you, you know what I'm saying, a solid person. But he was already who he was when it comes to business, when it comes to following guidelines and procedures. He was already who he was. That's just a fact, right? So when it comes to the matter of classified information, I want y'all to do me a favor. I want y'all to Google. It's two documents I want y'all to Google so y'all get a better understanding of why he's wrong, right? First one is EO is Executive Order 13526, Classified National Security Information. This order prescribes a uniform system for classified, declassified, and management of national security information. Key word in there is uniform, right? So what that means, for layman terms, that's uniform across all branches of government, including the executive branch of government. Meaning there is nobody that's exempt from following these guidelines, right? There's another one, 44 USC Chapter 22, Presidential Records. This document governs how the presidents are to manage their personal records, right? Don't get it confused with personal records versus classified information. Don't get these two things misconstrued, right? Presidential records include things like memos and notes and calendars and, you know what I mean, things you might have circled and highlighted, and, you know what I mean? That is what's included in presidential records. No. Now, can some documents that are deemed sensitive fall under presidential records? It can, but there's a process for that. And that's what the Executive Order 13526 is going to cover. What does that process look like? What's the standard operating procedure? What are the guidelines? Your power ends and begins with sitting in that seat, which means occupying that office. I think Donald Trump, because he's not a politician, because he's never really been a politician, he spent a bunch of money supporting him. I give him that, and it was Democrats, historically. He only went the Republican route, I told y'all, because it was the path of least resistance. He feels though he couldn't win a Democratic nomination. That's why he moved. That's why he moved to the Republican side. But he was an independent, and they say he need a party. He got subscribed to party lines. That's why he chose Republicans, because Republicans were offered the path of least resistance. He knew he could win that, right? So let's be abundantly clear. Let's be abundantly clear. You know what I'm saying? And because of that, there's certain little tidbits that he didn't grow up with understanding. And one of those is what limitations you actually have. I believe that he believed that occupying that seat, there wasn't nothing he can't do. Which there isn't a whole lot you can't do. Let's be clear. Does he have the power to declassify information? Yes. Everything except for Atomic Energy Act related items. He doesn't have the power to declassify it. He doesn't. Anything dealing with the Atomic Energy Act, he does not have the power to declassify. Anything outside of that, that's more within his purview, but there's still, with certain instances, there's still procedures and guidelines you gotta follow. One thing you gotta do is you gotta notify the agency in writing that you're declassifying whatever document that they have. Why? Because they are in control of this document. Let me tell you how this documentation process works. So maybe if I explain that, people get a better understanding. You got people that create a document, right? You got people that look like me, that did what I used to do. We sit in the office and we get with SMEs and things like that, and we create this document, right? Depending on the sensitivity of what's in that document, we classify that document. Either it's going to be unclassified, it's going to be confidential, it's going to be secret, it's going to be top secret, it's going to be top secret SCI, it's going to be no foreign, which is no foreign nationals. It's going to be NATO, which means that NATO is NATO classified. So there's various classifications, right? And they're stamped at the top and bottom of each page of the document, right? So, this document is there, serial log. It's pinned into it. It's pinned in the log. It's serial. It gets given a serial number. Copy is made and things are done, certain things are mailed, certain things are stored, certain records are maintained, or whatever the case may be. But for sure, documents are mailed to the National Archive. The National Archive stores all classified information. Depending on the classification level, it depends on how long before this information could be revealed to the public or before the information is destroyed in itself, right? So like I said, depending on what it is. So when you're dealing with TSSCI information, which he was, the SCI part stands for Secure Compartmentalized Information. That compartmentalized information means that it has to be stored a certain kind of way. It has to be stored in a secure manner. Secure manner typically means a SCIF. A SCIF means pretty much the same thing, Secure Compartmentalized Information Facility, right? So it means that this place stores this information, right? You need a special access. You need to be on a special access list to even get in there. And once you're in there, you got to be cleared for what you're looking for. What clear means is that you can only look at one, need to know, and you're going to look at things that's up to your security level. You understand? But you still have a need to know. You still just can't read it because it's in there and you have a security level for it. No. You need to know this information. This ain't no GP type thing, right? So as y'all can surmise yourself, the president, there's probably not much he should not know or he needs to know. True indeed, right? Which makes this part even more dangerous, right? So he has TSSCI information that he never declassified. Once again, you cannot declassify a document when you leave the office. Your power ends when it comes to classification when you leave the office. This classification is assigned to the office of the president. It's not assigned to Donald Trump. That's what people. I think that's what people really think. It's not the same thing. This document was classified and prescribed and viewed under the guidance and ownership of the president of the United States. That office, not the person. When that person leaves office, that is no longer his document. That's no longer his information. Now, like I said, if you want to go through the proper channels and declassify it, then yeah, it could be his or whatever the case may be, right? Which he fully acknowledged, by the way. He fully acknowledges this. This man asked somebody to backdate these documents. This is where he, if he's dead, if he's well within his right to have these documents, why would he ask somebody to backdate it? You know what backdating is for? To double back to make sure you're in compliance within whatever purview you're supposed to be in. That's the only reason why you ask somebody to backdate something. It's to be in compliance. If he had the purview to declassify something in 2021, 22, 23, he wouldn't have to need to ask somebody to backdate something. It's just pure facts. Let's use logic real quick. Once again, I'm too pro logic. Take away what you thought you knew what somebody told you. Because just because they told you don't mean they know what they're talking about. You got to go to the SMEs with this. You can't go with somebody think or what their opinion was or secondhand information. You got to talk to the SMEs, subject matter experts. I don't want to talk over nobody here. So when they discovered these documents were missing, and they looking for these documents, because guess what? The agency that created these documents, they have to audit and account for these documents. So when somebody from the president's office who is cleared to have it come in and say, I'm getting these for the president, and they already knew he was coming to get them. They're going to have them nice and ready for him, right? They're logging because it's a controlled document. It's a chain of custody. Let me help y'all out. Let me help y'all understand this, right? How they discovered what was missing. They knew what was missing. There's a chain of custody. When they go do their audit, they look and say, okay, we don't have possession of this document, this document, this document, this, oh, who's the last person to have it? The president's office or whoever signed for it. Now the investigation started to try to get this document back. We'll check the status of this document. When the person who signed it out says, no, I gave it to so-and-so, then that goes on, I gave it to so-and-so, and they say, well, I gave it to the president. Oh, Mr. President, are you still in possession of this document? No, I'm not in possession of that document. Well, everybody else just say you was in possession of that document. We asked for this document because it's a controlled item, and it was not declassified, and it shouldn't be in your personal possession. That's a big fact. Big fact. So now when the government goes and says, you know what, just give it back the document, no harm, no foul, and we're going to keep it pushing. But when you purposely hide documents, and you try to, you have been hiding documents from your own lawyers who are going to try to help you out because you want to hold on to these documents so bad, I guess. And they played this cat and mouse game with you for a year and a half or 2 years. And then when they bring charges, you say it's a witch hunt. How the fuck? If that was me, I would have got locked up. Soon they discovered the document missing. I would have been arrested. Anybody, not the president, no, not the president. So when people say the president, the vice president, the secretary of state, what I mean by that is Joe Biden, Pence, and Hillary Clinton, who all found to be in violations of mishandling of classified information, right? Let me tell you what the big difference is. The big difference is that they cooperated. They didn't try to hide this documentation, right? So if the president was allowed to handle classified information at his whim, why did Joe Biden quickly give up those documents and say, oh, you know what, I apologize, I didn't mean to do none of this, I apologize, I can have this back. But he's the president, he's the sitting president. Why? Because he knows his power does not supersede law. There's no asterisk in there that says the president can do with classified information what he wishes. No, there's still a responsibility of how you handle it. There's still a responsibility of how you handle it. You still got to handle it in a manner which will safeguard the national security and national information. You can't leave them in bathrooms and ballrooms and storage closets, regular storage closets and hotel rooms and all this other stuff where any common Joe got access to. And you can't say the Secret Service was there. The Secret Service job was not to secure documents, it's to secure the physical body of the person. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna take y'all to school tonight because I'm tired of the nonsense. I'm gonna take y'all to school tonight. I'm gonna take y'all to school tonight. Now, the president does have a lot of unilateral authority when it comes to handling classified information. He does. He absolutely does. Or the office does. One day it'll be a female president, I'm pretty sure. So the office does. That office holds and wields and yields a lot of authority when it comes to handling and managing of classified information. Absolutely. But there's still regulations even for them, for that person, that they have to abide by. Yes. And like I said, that man even acknowledged that much. He even acknowledged that much. So how people could go back and forth, but this man already admitted and acknowledged that, yo, yeah, I might have messed up. And you know what's a real key indicator that he might have messed up? He can't really put together a legal team to fight this case, this federal case. He got a mean legal team for the state case in New York. But he can't really put together a federal team to fight this case. Why? Because anybody with a half brain is going to look at this and acknowledge the fact that, yo, this guy is tripping. Like, no, he broke the law. Like, no, this guy really broke the law. How are you? He really did something wrong. Read through these documents. He's charged with violating the Espionage Act. Read the charging documents. I implore people to read the charging documents and then go read back and read these instruction numbers that I just gave you, or these policy numbers that I just gave you. So the USC 44 and the Executive Order 13526, I think it was. Yeah. Go back and really read and comprehend what they're saying on that. Like, really, really, truly comprehend what they're saying. They ain't saying exemption. They ain't saying exception. They said uniform guidance. And like I said, the uniform part is key because that tells you that covers all branches of government. Everything is in language. I did this for most of my life. Like I said, the key, the real key is pay attention to the lawyers that's not stepping up to take this case. It's free money for them. It's free money for them. But they ain't gonna they're not gonna put their reputation on the line for a case they probably know they can't really win at that. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I don't ever think he'll go to jail. I'll be super surprised if he go to jail. But to me, a lot to do with this is people said there's other deeper reasonings behind the scenes that I don't know nothing about that. I'm not no conspiracy theorist or one of them. I look at what's in front of me and I move off of that. Whereas I think one of the main parts is that they don't want this guy to hold public office again. They deem them unfit for public office, and they want to try to do anything they can do to ensure that doesn't happen. Right. So with that, but even with that, with convicting him, even if he convicted of a felony, there's nothing in it that precludes him from running for president. It just ain't. Nothing stops that. So, nonetheless, a new president's going to be set because new presidents have been set throughout this, from him being a search warrant to being indicted to being arraigned today to the whole nine, right? A whole new president's been set. So when, like I said, so when you ask why Pence, Biden, and Hillary Clinton wasn't indicted, because like I said, they cooperated from the beginning. And they also didn't want to, because Secretary of State is a pretty powerful office. Ain't got nothing to do with Hillary Clinton. That's a high visibility, world-renowned office where you shake hands and kiss babies with a lot of foreign delegates that are very important people. So what it look like indicting a Secretary of State? You know what I'm saying? Same thing, a la Vice President, a la President. Like these are high visible positions that. Do you really want that stain or set that new precedents that come with that? But like I said, my main thing and reasons why he was indicted because he didn't cooperate. If he would have cooperated, he wouldn't have been indicted. He'd have been told go away and whatever, like don't do it no more, and whatever the case may be. Same thing they told Pence and Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden. And they also got found with documents in their personal residences. And Hillary Clinton was just wild, right? Hillary Clinton probably had even a wilder. I don't know. Her and Trump probably running neck and neck because they both wild out, to be honest. But at the end of the investigation, they found that there was no malice intent within Hillary Clinton. Right? Like, yeah, they destroyed stuff, but it was natural order of destruction because, you could delete emails, you can delete all this stuff. So they said it wasn't a case of obstructing justice. Right? Trump is also charged with obstructing justice. Why is he charged with obstructing justice? Because he was hiding materials. He was purposely hiding and withholding materials from federal investigators. Like, come on, man, we got to be halfway smart, man. Everything can't be about politics. Sometimes people are just wrong, right? There's right and there's wrong. Sometimes people are just wrong. Sometimes that's just the case. It is what it is, G. And this is a case where the guy was wrong. He did something wrong, and they hollered at him like they would have, but they had been hollered at me. They'd have been came got me. And in closing, I want to double back, and I want to talk about your man Joe Biden real quick. Nah, should I wait to talk about Joe Biden? I think I should wait to talk about that. He did fall at the Air Force Academy though. That was crazy. He tripped over a beanbag, a sandbag. Why they had sandbags on the stage, I don't have the slightest idea. The Air Force, it's the Air Force, man. I don't know why these guys had sandbags on the stage, but they wound up hurting Joe. Man, they could have got Joe out of here, man. No, he don't fell on the bike. How many more falls you think he got? He don't got that many falls left in him, man. And whoever was in charge of that detail, whoever was in charge of organizing that, you failed. You had one job and you failed. And he failed. You failed and he failed. But yeah, the other thing, I'm gonna wait to talk about that because I find this very interesting. So I'm gonna wait till I'm back in studio. To talk about that. I can't let that bar go yet. I gotta hold on to that bar. But everything I just said, everything I talked about, you can fact check it. Once again, we're talking about integrity within journalism, right? We're talking about integrity within getting on this camera and talking to the world. Like, there gotta be a level of integrity. Everything I said, you can fact check me. Everything I just stated, you can fact check me. None of this is my opinion. Only thing that was my opinion was whether the Susan lady lined AJ. That's the only thing that was opinion based. Everything else in there was factual. Everything in there can be verified of what I said. And that's just what's out now. Wait till the trial come. You think they ain't got more information? Wait till the trial come. And a double back to stand your ground. This stand your ground. Like I said, they took the onus off of the defendant in this case and put it on the prosecutor's office. So the prosecutor's office has to find that your case doesn't meet the merits and grounds of stand your ground. Which, that changed the dynamics, right? Because now you get this personal vigilante hunter type mentality where people feel like they can do what they want. The same thing, we see the same thing in the Trayvon Martin case. How is it that you could be both agitated, instigated, and defended? You would sell it and defend it at the same time? You stalked this man. You preyed on this young man. You engaged this young man, which led to a fist fight after 911 told him to stand down. How does that meet the merits and conditions of stand your ground? I would never understand that. So that whole law, I get the importance of it. It gives actual victims a chance to defend themselves, like actual victims do. I think the law has some importance. I just believe that it needs to be modified, it needs to be reviewed, and the criteria for which is justifiable with stand your ground, that needs to be modified and updated. Especially with the state of Florida going to carrierless permit July 1st. You're going to have a lot of macho stuff. You're going to have a lot of weird stuff that already exists. Is going to be on steroids. You know what I mean? It's almost like it's designed for like a civil war or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And tensions at all time high, especially when you got Donald Trump going through things where they think it's a racial or prejudice or targeted attack by the DOJ. Maybe the DOJ's been weaponized against him, and you got a lot of his supporters coming in defense of him, stating exactly that. And with Donald Trump, you're always going to have the division in racial lines. It is what it is. I mean, like I told people, if you look at his policies, you look at he actually did more for the black community than Barack Obama did from a policy perspective. He absolutely did. You can fact check me. I don't lie. You can fact check me. But there's still a element of racial division that he brings organically. You know what I mean? So that heightens back up. And he still got other probes. He got the Atlanta probe with the interference with an election, and he still got the January 6th probe. And both of them, he probably still going to be indicted on. So y'all gonna get mad out there. Y'all might as well go ahead and get more mad. Because I'm telling y'all, more likely he's going to be indicted again, 2 more times at least. He will be indicted. I promise you. But like I said, this is unprecedented. We've never seen this before. I mean, I guess for him the glass ain't always half empty. His rate, he's going up in his approval polls. He's going up exponentially. He has like a 30% lead over Ron DeSantis right now in the approval polls. The first time he was indicted, he was given like $15 million worth of campaign funds. Let's see how much more money he get. I mean, he's supposed to have a speech tonight in Jersey, at his resort. My bad, I'm outside, so weird movement and stuff like that. But he's supposed to give a speech tonight at his resort and cover the activities of the day. So, like I said, we'll just sit back and we'll see how all this plays out. Unfortunately, it's still, nobody wins in this scenario. But like I said, I never personally witnessed nobody give the middle finger to the government multiple times and win. I never witnessed nobody do nothing like that. It's unheard of. It doesn't happen. You can't antagonize the government. I don't care, especially if you know you're wrong somewhere in there. I've never seen nobody win with antagonizing the government. It is what it is. But thank y'all for rocking with me, man. Thank y'all for coming through. As always, I appreciate the support, appreciate the love. You can find me on Spotify now. Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google, Amazon. Still TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, still the same mechanisms. But we still got the t-shirts. We all over the place with it. We all over the place, and we trying to spread the word, spread the awareness, and have more conversations like this. Like I said, factual-based conversations, nothing weird. Leave the weird stuff for the weirdos. It's a lane for everybody. The weirdos got a lane, the real dudes got a lane, the I guess conservative liberals. I'm just a real guy, man. I don't real rap, man. I don't do nothing else, man. I ain't got no liberal or conservative. I just look at information and I process it accordingly. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, the worst thing you can do is look at information. Only look at the information that supports your stance. No, you gotta look at all the information. Especially if you wanna do this. You gotta look at all the information, G. And then relay what you feel, what your thoughts is, and how that's rocking out. No more, no less. Anything else is uncivilized. Real Rap King, politics on the corner. I'll see y'all next week.